Let's finish off on Predict the Prem, seeing as it is another round of Premier League action this weekend. We won't be in the studio together on Thursday, so we thought we'd bring it to you a day early. So Sim is currently on 255. I'm on 263. If you don't know the way the scoring works by now, it's 5 points for a completely correct score, 1 point for a correct result. And the star man, once you pick that man, you can't pick them again for the rest of the season. 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist. Let's start off with the Nottingham Forest Man City game at the City ground. Sim's gone for 2-1 to City.
I have. I think Forest haven't been as good, to be honest, over the last few weeks. I feel like they're kind of maybe reverting back to type a bit. I think they've still got enough about them to really keep them in that race for the top four. So I don't think they might kind of keep pace, because I think a lot of the other teams are inconsistent. But I think City are definitely getting better. I think City are definitely improving. And I think they beat them 3-0 at home not so long ago when they were in their worst period, City. And this is without the new signings or anything. Now they got Mamouche, now they've got these other players. I do think they're going to go there, and it's going to be a tight game. I think Forest are going to, give it their all, but I see them starting to slip a bit. So I've gone for a 2-1 win to City.
Yeah, I've gone for 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. I feel that, Forest are going to get 5 at the back. They're going to, make it incredibly hard for Man City to break them down. And they've stifled a lot of big clubs coming to the City ground this year. 1-1 against Liverpool, 0-0 against Arsenal last time out. And, their bad results have mainly come away from home. So I think at home in this one, I think they're going to make it just incredibly difficult for Man City to break them down. And I think Man City will struggle to break them down. And Man City do always leave the back door open for counter-attacks. And I feel like that's the way Nottingham Forest will get a goal. So I've gone for 1-0 to Forest. And that is actually quite significant if it does finish 1-0 to Forest in terms of the race for the top four. Because that means City will actually be, because they're 3rd and 4th, aren't they?
City could be out the top 4 if they lose this.
What is the point? So not really. They'll be out the top 4, but not out the race.
No, not the race. I'm saying they could be out the top 4. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Brighton against Fulham. Sim's gone for 1-1. I've gone for 2-1 to Fulham here. I just feel like in these kind of games, Marco Silva always finds a way to get through them and grab the win. Brighton have a horrific record against Fulham as well. But I do feel like this is going to be a really interesting tactical battle. We know the way that Brighton like to play, but Fulham like to change it up and according to which team they play. So I feel like they'll find a way to get over the line and win the game 2-1.
Yeah, these kind of games are just so hard to predict. You could always go either way, because both these teams are playing so well in terms of this season, and they've really upped their game. But it's difficult to call in terms of who's going to turn up on the day. But I've just gone for a 1-1 draw. I think Brighton are in good form. They're starting to win games again. They're 3 in a row, including 2 wins in League and Cup against Chelsea as well. Fulham away from home got a good result against Wolves. I thought they rode their luck in that game, but they got the result. They won 2-1. I just don't think they're going to get over the line here. I think it's going to be a draw.
Next up at Selhurst Park, it's Crystal Palace against Ipswich. Sim's gone for 2-0.
Yeah, I think Palace, usually Palace's scoreline. I think Palace have been...
Away from home anyway.
Yeah, true, away from home especially. I think they're playing so well, Crystal Palace. They're hard to stop. Mateta's in the form of his life. And I just can see Ipswich really struggling to break them down and create those chances they need to in this game to get the better of Crystal Palace and get over the line. I think Liam Delap up against those 3 centre-backs is going to be hard for him. And I think Eze, Mateta and Sarr I can really see running right here. But I've only gone for 2-0. I don't think it's going to be an absolute battering.
I think it is going to be an absolute battering. Even without Mateta, I feel like they're going to have Ipswich's number here. Ipswich know that they need to come and deliver something if they've got any hope to survival, even though that hope is very thin. And I feel like Palace, who's it going to be instead of Mateta? Is it going to be Nketiah?
Nketiah, yeah.
Yeah, it probably will be Nketiah, but obviously Nketiah is not great, but they do have other players around him. Eze has started to really come into the season. Last couple of games, they got Sarr, who I think is going to be big in this game, and Munoz also a big threat at wing back. So I think even without Mateta, they're going to have more than enough threat to put away this Ipswich team. So I've gone for 4-1 to Crystal Palace. Next up is Liverpool against Southampton, and we've gone for the exact same scoreline. No surprises here. 4-0 to Liverpool, and I don't think it takes a genius to work out why.
Yeah, Carl, first versus bottom. I think usually, well, so sometimes when this fixture happens, it can spring a surprise, but I just don't see it happening here. Southampton seem to have given up. They seem to have completely chucked it in at the moment. They don't seem to have any belief in them. Liverpool, I know, are playing midweek against PSG, but they got the squad capable of rotating in this one and taking Southampton to the cleaners. So, unfortunately, I don't see anything but a battering for Southampton.
Yeah. Brentford against Villa. Sim's gone for 2-1. I've gone for 3-1. I just feel like Villa, on the back of European games, always seem to struggle. And against a real energetic Brentford side, and Brentford will be really up for this. They haven't won at home in a while, and I think that's the 3 points is coming for them at the G-Tech this weekend against a tired Villa side.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Villa do tend to have some struggles against Brentford sometimes. And I think Mbeumo Wissa, brilliant attacking that space that the Villa high line has. And I think Villa going away from home, they haven't been good away from home for a while, to be honest. So I can see them really struggling, to be honest. So I've gone for Brentford to win, but I also just think it's going to be a bit tight. So 2-1.
Wolves against Everton. We've both gone for this same scoreline here again in 1-1.
Yeah, close game. I know for Wolves' point of view, wouldn't be a bad result getting a draw at home. They'd need to pull themselves away from that relegation zone as much as possible. They're currently 5 points, but as long as it's 5 points, I don't think they're going to feel comfortable. But Everton are in such great form, drawing unbeaten in the last 7 games. I think away from home, they're going to find a way just to nick a point here. Wolves are going to struggle to overcome them. I can see Wolves being the better team, but Everton nicking a point here. So I'm going for 1-1.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, Wolves, you never really know which Wolves side are going to turn up, because sometimes they can be brilliant with the likes of Matthias Cunha, João Gomez in the middle of the park. Well, actually, Cunha's out, isn't he, for this game?
Good point. They never win without Cunha.
Strand Larsen will be there. He's back. I didn't even take into account Cunha was going to be out for this game, but I still feel that they can nick a draw. However, Everton, after that kind of initial spurt under Moyes, they are becoming a bit of the draw specialists again, aren't they? 3 draws in their last 4 games, and I feel like another one's going to come here with both teams. Yeah, I mean, Wolves probably won't feel like they're completely safe, but I feel like they're completely safe.
Yeah, they probably are, but until it's, you can never rest if you're that close to relegation, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Moving on to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea against Leicester. Sim's gone for 3-1 to Chelsea. I've gone for 3-0 to Chelsea. I was watching Leicester in their last game against West Ham. Was it West Ham?
Yeah.
Yeah, West Ham. And they were embarrassing, really. It looks as though the majority of those players on the pitch have given up and resigned themselves to getting relegated once again. And I don't think Chelsea were that good last week, even in a 4-0 win against Southampton. But I think Leicester are just going to make it way too easy for them. And it's going to be pretty much one-way traffic and a convincing victory.
Yeah, I've gone for 3-1 just because I'm still not convinced with Chelsea's defence. And I do think Leicester, on occasion with Vardy, can get in behind. But other than that, I think it's going to be few and far between. Again, they also seem to be absolutely dead on their feet. Van Nistelrooy can't seem to get any sort of tune out of them at the moment. They can't seem to stem any sort of tide when it comes against them. Well, I thought West Ham weren't even great against them. They still lost, to be honest. And they still lost very convincingly without really laying glove on them. So I think Chelsea don't have to be great, but they'll still get the win, 3-1.
Yeah. Tottenham against Bournemouth up next. We've both gone for the same scoreline once again in 2-2.
Yeah, I see this being a real basketball game, and I see this being how Iraola likes to play, a lot of chaos, intensity, just get a lot of running. The running derby, they'll probably call this. And I think Tottenham, after playing Thursday night out in the Netherlands, they're going to have to rotate a few players. Hopefully some players come back in better condition. We saw early in the season we had a few struggles when we were playing on Thursdays or Sundays after Thursdays. So I do see Tottenham maybe not being at their absolute best. But Bournemouth had also got a few injuries, but also Evan Nilsson is now back, so he's a big plus for them. But I see it being a very entertaining 2-2 draw with a lot of chances at both ends.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think the week's rest will do Bournemouth the world of good coming into this game. I just can't see Tottenham or Bournemouth going and winning. I think really end-to-end game, loads of chances, and the points split at 1 apiece. So I've gone for 2-2. Manchester United against Arsenal. Sim's gone for 2-1 to Arsenal. I've gone for a 0-0 draw here. I'm feeling that Man United are going to sit deep. They're going to be compact. They're going to make it hard for Arsenal to break them down. And I think that has been the case in the majority of the 2 games that Arsenal have played Manchester United in this season. Arsenal obviously got 2 set-piece goals in the second half in the game in the league. And in the game in the FA Cup, obviously Man U took it to penalties and won in the end. So I feel like Arsenal do struggle against teams that play kind of low and make it hard for them, and I feel like this is going to be another case for it. So I don't really think that Man United have the tools to go up the other end and struggle and hurt Arsenal, especially with their defence that they do have. So I've gone for 0-0. But what a story it could be, because it could be Chido Obi against his old club.
Yeah, could be if he gets on the pitch. Obviously, he's done quite well in the last game or 2 when he's come off the bench. But yeah, Arsenal do tend to struggle a bit against teams who play a bit of a lower block, but they're usually a bit more organised than Man United, I would say. And Man United just seems so disorganised right now. So I think whether it be from set pieces, which we know as well, Man United not very good at defending, or something, I think Arsenal will get a couple of goals in. I think they will go on and win the game. I see Man United trying to make it a bit difficult for them. We've seen against some of the better sides, they've had some decent performances. But I think Arsenal will be a step too far. I do think Arsenal will get the win here, 2-1.
And last but not least, West Ham against Newcastle, Monday Night Football. We've gone for the same scoreline here in 2-1 to West Ham.
Yeah, I think West Ham have been a bit better recently, or getting better results anyway. So I think I don't see this being convincing, but obviously Gordon's going to be missing. I don't know if Isaac is he going to be playing? I think he played, but obviously the big reason for me is I just think they're going to have one eye on the cup final, and I think you've seen how many teams you see, especially in Newcastle's position, not necessarily the better teams, but the teams like Newcastle where they're rarely in a final and then they get there and they take their eye off the league. It happens so often, and I think it's going to happen again here, and I think Potter will take advantage of that. So I've gone for a 2-1 win for West Ham.
Yeah, that's the exact same reason why I've gone for a West Ham win. I think West Ham will take advantage of Newcastle having one eye on that cup final, and also the likes of Gordon, Lewis Hall out for the game, kind of self-destructing before this cup final with the sending off that Gordon did, and also Lewis Hall being injured. So
happened last time with Nick Pope as well.
Yeah, that's also true. So I feel like, Newcastle not in the greatest moment right now, and West Ham are going to take advantage, and Newcastle not going to have too. The ambitions are all on the cup final for them, so I've gone for 2-1 to West Ham. And now we go on to the star men. Sim's gone for Diogo Jota.
Yeah, a bit of risking a bit of roulette here, but needed. I've already picked Palmer, so couldn't pick him. Don't really trust any of the other Chelsea players, to be honest. So then looking at Liverpool, I've already picked Salah, Diaz and Gakpo. So Journey, Jota left. I'm going to bank on the fact that Diaz and Gakpo will start in midweek and Jota maybe comes in on the weekend. So I've gone for Jota.
I got a feeling Darwin could play this game.
Maybe Darwin and Jota.
Maybe Darwin and Jota. Maybe. But I've gone for Cole Palmer. I saw the stinker that he had last week when Sim had him as star man, and I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to put Palmer in, because he'll be chomping at the bit to put the ball in the back of the net against a really weak Leicester side. There should be a lot of space for him, a lot of chances for him. So I went for a convincing Chelsea win, and I think he's going to be the centre of it. So I have gone for Palmer. Sim's gone for Jota. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts. What's your predictions? Who's your star man? Who do you think is going to come out on top? Me or Sim? And that is it from